How do you reconcile the fact that you were one of the most vocal critics of pork barrel politics, and yet, while you were chairman of the Commerce Committee, that committee set a record for unauthorized appropriations? I'm just kidding. I don't even know what that means.
Steve Carell with John McCain when he was a correspondent on The Daily Show.
He was really trying to figure out, now, how do I answer this question? What the hell is he saying? Yeah, that was good.
Senator John McCain concluded his final book, The Restless Wave, with a reflection on his life of service. McCain wrote, "I hope those who mourn my passing, and even those who don't, will celebrate as I celebrate a happy life lived in imperfect service to a country made of ideals, whose continued success is the hope of the world." We continue to reflect on that life this morning with John Dickerson on assignment in Indiana. John, good morning again.
Good morning, Anthony. That life of service, according to McCain's office, 60 years, they noted, when he passed. In his own words, here's a look at how John McCain reflected on his life, legacy, and the country he loved.
I fell in love with my country when I was a prisoner in someone else's. I loved it, not just for the many comforts of life here. I loved it for its decency, for its faith, and the wisdom, justice, and goodness of its people.
The joy of my life was the bonds that were forged between me and my fellow POWs. They were wonderful. We fought together. We loved each other.
There's no doubt that all of us were weak from time to time. There was also a lot of courage displayed and a lot of love for one another that I think maybe Americans are uniquely capable of.
I'm a far better man for having had the experience that I had. I learned the meaning of friendship and comradeship and love and compassion, and learned many of my own failings, which continue to this day.
I've been a member of the United States Senate for 30 years. Our deliberations today are often lively and interesting. They can be sincere and principled, but they are more partisan, more tribal, more of the time than at any time that I can remember. It's necessary that even in times of crisis, we have these contests and engage in spirited disagreement, but it should remain an argument among friends who share an unshaken belief that in our great cause and in the goodness of each other, we are Americans first, Americans last, and Americans always. My country saved me, and I cannot forget it. And I will fight for her as long as I draw breath, so help me God.
I want, when I leave, that the ceremony is at the Naval Academy, and we just have a couple of people that stand up and say, this guy, he served his country.
You know, one more final line from Mark Salter, who you quoted earlier, Norah, longtime aide of McCain's. He said, McCain had the knowledge that the most marvelous of human achievements is not to lose hope when experience has taught you that hope is for fools. Norah.
Thank you, John. I feel like this is a really important week because, as I said kind of earlier, the passing of an era, the passing of a time, there's a lot to be reflective on his service, the importance of service to his country.